It is week 10 of the NFL season. The Seattle Seahawks heading to Green Bay to take on the Packers. Russell Wilson is back. This is an important game. Guys, let's get some good energy going. I'm not very superstitious normally, but like this video if you want the Seahawks to win. You don't want to be watching the game, seeing Seattle down, and think, man, if I would have liked that video, something would have changed. So make sure you like it now. Let's go Seahawks. We've got our mailbag show today. As promised, we are answering the questions that you guys left for us in the comments. A lot going on in the league right now. We've talked OBJ, we've talked injuries, so we're going to probably touch on that a little bit more today. But let's just get right into it. Patrick Starr asks, #Seahawks. Do you have a Week 10 injury update? Yes, of course we do. That is what we do here at Seahawks Today. Positive news. I mean, we've talked about this earlier this week. I think Seahawks are on a good track. Now, the only people that did not practice were Marquise, Blair, safety. He's dealing with that knee injury. Cody, Barton. He's dealing with a quad. Alex Collins and Jamarco Jones. They were both limited participants. Collins with the groin, Jones with an ankle. So this does not include the players that are on IR. Obviously, Russell Wilson, full participant. D. Eskridge and Chris Carson, though, we are unclear exactly how much they practice this week. If a guy's on IR, they don't have to release that in the injury report. But we are expecting Russell Wilson to be back. The big question mark heading into Sunday's game, for me at least, is what's going to happen with Chris Carson. We know that he was designated to return off of IR and go back to practice, but will he play in Sunday's game? I really don't know. I'm actually going to say I don't think he will, but I want your thoughts. Will Chris Carson play on Sunday? Type P for play or type O for out. Now, overall, this is positive for Seattle. The Seahawks are getting healthy. I think that was really the thing holding them back. Obviously, you don't have Russell Wilson out there. Your season's going to look a little bit different. So I feel good about this, and it's very important as they go to take on such a good team in Green Bay. It's going to be a hard game no matter what, but I am feeling confident in the Seahawks. And by the way, maybe you're feeling very confident in the Seahawks and you want to bet on them. Now would be the time to do it, and BetUS is the place to do it at. This is the sports book that we love here at Chat Sports, and they've got a deal right now that I'm telling you will not be out for long, and it's something you do not want to miss out on. If you go to chatsports.com/bet, you use the promo code Seahawks125. Do not forget to use that code. You are going to get a 125% deposit bonus. That means if you put up $100, gonna turn into $225. You can put up to $500, and obviously the more you put up, the more you'll get back. And this is a deal that I think is fantastic. You don't have to bet on Seahawks though, so if you aren't feeling as confident in the Seahawks, bet on another team. Bet on any sport you like. And by the way, we've got more free stuff for you, because if you are new to BetUS, we're doing our jersey giveaway. This is something that will not last for long. I told you guys, I'm surprised that we are even doing it this week. So they are running out here at Chat Sports. But go through the steps that we just talked about. That's signing up, using the promo code. You'll get that deposit. Place your first bet. Then once you do this, email us jersey@chatsports.com. Show us that you did this. Then you will get your choice between Jamal Adams, Russell Wilson, or DK Metcalf. We'll send you over that jersey. Let's get back into our mailbag show today. Next question coming in from John Westover. He says, my thinking, we sign OBJ. Russ does not ask for a trade next year. We don't sign OBJ. Russ does ask for a trade. Now, I don't think it works like that, and OBJ will not have an impact on this, on Russell Wilson at all. That's my opinion. Now, am I saying that Russell Wilson trade rumors aren't going to come up after the season? I am not saying that. I actually really think that they will circulate, whether it's real or not. I think that's going to be a topic, whether or not the Seahawks are getting OBJ. And by the way, OBJ might honestly be doing a one-year deal with the team. We have no idea what his intentions are. And we've talked about OBJ. If you want more OBJ news, make sure you go check out our videos we have done this week. We are covering it all here. So let's stick on the OBJ train while we're at it. John Mariano says, #Seahawks. He might go to the Packers as a playoff contender. If he goes to the Seahawks, I'm buying his jersey. Now, I'd buy his jersey too. And by the way, if OBJ does go to the Seahawks, let's get OBJ's jersey on our jersey deal. I promise you we will do that. But I do not think he is going to land in Seattle. OBJ reportedly wants to go to the Packers. Now, we're hearing mixed things, though. So I'm cautious to say that OBJ is not going to land in Seattle because things are changing. Right now, we still are hearing that his top teams are the Chiefs, the Packers, and the Saints. We are also hearing that OBJ wants to take his time deciding where he wants to go. Now, that's the good thing about being OBJ. You kind of have the power and control in your hands. So good for him. He deserves it. But I don't think that we are going to have an answer before this week's game. Honestly, I don't think we are going to find out till next week. Obviously, anything involving Seahawks, we will keep you updated with. Moving on, though, Christian Sanchez says, what do you think the Seahawks record will be by the end of the season? Now, this is always a hard one to answer because, it really depends on injuries. A lot of things impact this. But just looking at the schedule right now, I am going to say Seahawks end the season at 10-7. Now, some of you might say that's low. Some of you might say, nah, that's kind of high. I think this is the most realistic winning record that the Seahawks could have. And I don't think that they are going to win the division with this record, but I do think that they will grab a wild card spot. The only reason why I'm saying, hey, it might be out of the question for Seattle to not win the division is just because of how, unfortunately, competitive the NFC West is. You've got the Cardinals at 8-1. You've got the Rams at 7-2. So to compete with these two teams, I mean, they'd really have to just completely have a different, turn of events in their seasons, have injuries. I don't know, but I do think that the Seahawks could easily come and get a wild card spot. Look at this right now. I mean, Falcons are right now the 7th seed if the playoffs were today at 4-4. The Saints would be the 6th seed at 5-3. I have no doubt in my mind that the Seahawks will grab a wild card spot, but these games are important. And so we're going to just look at the schedule right now. I told you guys 10-7 would be my final prediction for them, but you can see this. We're not going to go through all of them, but this game, obviously, the Packers is very important. That's going to be one of their more challenging games. These divisional games are going to get harder. I think they'll get a Washington win, a Texans win. I do think they'll get a 49ers win. Cardinals might be difficult, but then, we get into week 15. Rams, like we said, a very good team, but the Seahawks are very capable of beating them. Obviously, they should beat the Bears, the Lions, and then the Cardinals. You never know. But that's my just right now, without having seen, honestly, a fully healthy Seahawks team, that's what I think. This could change. So now that we know more injuries that are clearing up, Seahawks are getting back out there. What do you guys think their record is going to be at the end of the season? Predict it right now in the comments. Let's discuss your thoughts. All right, next question we have is actually a Twitter question. So I told you guys, if you want to ask questions on Twitter, do so. We'll either comment back to them on Twitter or we'll put it in our mailbag show. So this one's coming in from another fat guy. All right, impressive username. And by the way, sorry if you can't read his actual name on top. He chose a very, very long name for Twitter, so sorry. He says, question for your Seahawks videos. Should Seattle replace Ken Norton Jr. with Ed Ogeron? He coached Jamal Adams at LSU. Now, that's a good point, like a good idea. I see where he's going with this, but I don't think so. If you guys saw, you probably didn't, but Tom Downey, our other Seahawks reporter here, he actually wrote back on Twitter to another fat guy saying that Ed Ogeron really doesn't have a lot of defensive coordinating experience. So he wouldn't be someone that he would suggest for the Seahawks to replace Ken Norton Jr. with. And I agree with that. I don't think that he is going to be in the talks for, a Ken Norton Jr. replacement if that happens, if we are talking that. Now, just, when I think about who would be someone that the Seahawks could use, Dan Quinn is someone that I think about. Now, Dan Quinn is obviously the defensive coordinator at the Cowboys right now, so that gets kind of tricky going from the same position at another team. I don't know exactly how that would work. Maybe the Seahawks would have to throw in something else, maybe an associate head coach title, maybe, some sort of promise that if Pete Carroll retires, he could take on the Seahawks in the head coaching position. I don't know how realistic this is, but it made me think about, do you guys want a Ken Norton Jr. replacement video? How are we feeling about the defense right now? We can put a list together here at Chat Sports and go through guys that could be good replacements for Ken Norton Jr. But let me know, these videos are meant for you. So if you want this, type Y for yes. If not, no big deal, type N for no. And by the way, guys, if you are not subscribed to our channel, make sure you are, because these videos are free. This is why we keep making more videos. The more subscribers we get, the more videos we can give to you guys. And by the way, I've heard some of you guys in the comments say, hey, you guys don't interact with us back here on the comments. And I want to be transparent with you guys and say, I didn't have access to the account. I now have access to Seahawks Today account. So get your questions in. Use hashtag Seahawks. These are for our subscribers only, so make sure you are subscribed. And I will try and answer all of the questions that you guys have.